there's regulatory pressure on Bitcoin that I don't understand, that is less than predictable on the landscape. That could be one of those reasons. I don't think it'll be the technology. However, we've had 12 and a half, 13 years of Bitcoin. It's proven to be a stable network and one that's unhackable. Some people say that quantum computing will come into gear and hack Bitcoin. I'm skeptical of that because I think Bitcoin will also, on the network side, have quantum computing, so they'll balance each other out. But yes, there could be something. There's no certainty in life. I tell people, let's allocate to Bitcoin appropriately. It's a 1% to 5% position at cost for now. And so, yes, I don't know. The beauty of the markets is the markets are very humbling, and you never know what's going to get you in the markets. And I have found that anything you think that doesn't happen or can happen, Michelle, invariably does. So I don't want to rule anything out, but I like what I see. I like the blockchain for sure. The blockchain is a massive delayering mechanism for the global economy. And so the blockchain will be with us for multiple decades, if not forever. And we're going to see a lot of things liquefy that previously weren't liquid as a result of the blockchain. And I'm excited by that. Just imagine this nascent token, this nascent cryptocurrency 10 years ago with a very minute market cap, people laughing at it as being irrelevant. Now there's $1.5 or $1.7 trillion of total market capitalization of all cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin being the alpha predator of those, probably 40 to 45% of the overall market cap. And so it's now sizable enough where the IMF and the US government have to pay attention to it. So I'll predict three things. This will go way slower than Bitcoiners would like it to go. Number two, there's a lot of Bitcoiners out there that are libertarians. They want absolutely no regulation. Too bad on that. You're going to get some fairly stringent regulation. And number three, despite governmental attempts, whatever they may be, Bitcoin is with us to stay. The Chinese government is always saying they're banning Bitcoin or we're getting rid of Bitcoin, but they know Bitcoin exists in their culture and in the system. It can be stored on a USB and carried around in somebody's pocket. So it's not going away. I have taken the belief, and perhaps this is too optimistic, that Bitcoin will be okay in the United States because it already has been deemed as property by the IRS. And so the IRS treats Bitcoin as intangible property. I didn't learn many things in law school. I think one of the first things I learned, Michelle, was not to be a lawyer. That was an obvious thing I learned in law school. But secondarily, property rights in the United States, United Kingdom, places like Singapore are quite sacrosanct because they all tie back to British common law. And there's a 900-year legacy of legal precedent that protects property. And so the IRS has already said Bitcoin is property. It's going to be very, very tough for the United States, given that designation, to ban Bitcoin or to overly regulate Bitcoin. There would likely be administrative court relief because of it. So it's going to exist. Guys like Gary Gensler are super smart guys. So I honestly don't know the reason. It's probably a myriad of factors, but I think the most interesting thing is that Bitcoin is now very tightly correlated with the higher growth, higher risk NASDAQ stocks. But I just want to point out to everybody, Bitcoin has had at least 50% declines 10 times since 2012. In the last year, we've had two 50% declines, obviously the most recent one, but also one in May of 2021. And so if you're long Bitcoin, you have to subject yourself to these type of volatility moves. And I'll just point out to people in Web 1, the same sort of situation happened for Amazon. And if you were wise enough and disciplined enough to hold Amazon and let that company take full advantage of the network effects associated with it, you did very well. And I think that's going to happen with Bitcoin. I just remind people what Jeff Bezos said at the 20th anniversary of the public offering of Amazon. People said, wow, the stock is so volatile. How were you able to hang in there? And he said, well, I was more focused on users and revenue growth. And for Bitcoin, since it's a network, you have to be focused on the wallet growth and the interaction among the people in the network. And so I ultimately think Bitcoin will be worth $500,000. It'll probably take 4 to 5 years. The ride will be rocky, but certainly worth it.